Hey there, hey there, hey there. Welcome to Dots Connected Through History. My name is Ali, and I am on a mission. I'm on a mission to make history cool. Now, people have this understanding of history as if it's this boring, um, drolling thing that just puts people to sleep. Well, I call BS on that. I will make an attempt to show each and every single one of you that the history that we see in the schools is nothing like the history that is in reality. When we talk about these historical figures, when we talk about these historical events that shape the world today as we see it, it's nothing short of cool, entertaining. So we should get started. And let's actually begin with this one figure. And for those who even practice religion, for those who don't practice religion, are aware of this guy. His name is Ramesses, or Ramesses. And he's someone who is been known to have been the Pharaoh during the time of Moses in the Exodus, historically. But if we dive deeper into his his history, actually, we will see that he's much more than that. As we can see when we react to this one video talking about his military campaigns, including one where there was a lot of chariots and a lot of propaganda. So let's get started, shall we? And connect those dots.
1800 BC, two great empires battle for regional dominance. A powerful people called the Hittites and the mighty Egyptians. This is the story of Ramses, a brash young pharaoh whose bold military tactics and strategies put his life and his empire in grave danger. The fate of Egypt and the entire Middle East hangs in the balance when the two forces collide at the Battle of Kadesh, a battle of deception, treachery, and raging chariots. At Kadesh, 17,000 Hittites face off against 20,000 Egyptians. Both forces fight to expand their borders and ultimately control the Middle East.
The Battle of Kadesh represents one of the most important battles in antiquity. It represents a clash of major empires, the Hittite Empire and the Egyptian Empire, in a crucial zone of military operations around Kadesh, which is in modern Syria.
Egypt is located in northeastern Africa. The Hittites' homeland, called Hatti, is about 1,000 miles away in what's now Turkey. But this battle between the superpowers rages in between the two homelands, in an area called Amaru in modern-day Syria.
The Amaru is the ancient world's crossroads. If you want to trade, you need to travel through the Amaru. If you want to attack someone, you need to travel through the Amaru. And if you want to prevent attack, you need to control the Amaru.
The Hittites are led by...
Now, one thing to notice when we're talking about stuff such as world empires and the points at which they come to a crossroads, every single area where those tips or the crossroads come together, expect a battle. Some point in time, expect a battle. Whether it could be for strategic trade advancements, it could be for expansion, it could be for downright anything whatsoever. But just know at some point in time, there's going to be a small skirmish or a huge skirmish when it comes to the point at which these crossroads occur, especially if there is a trade advantage to come along with it.
led by a young king named Muatali, believed to be in his
Muatali. Nice.
early 30s. Muatali is known for his cleverness in battle. The Egyptians are led by Pharaoh Ramses II.
Ramses II.
Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Muscles everywhere. Handsome man. Now, there is a mummy actually in that's been discovered not too long ago about about this mummy that's been embalmed, that his remains have been preserved, and that mummy has been known to have been Ramesses II. Now, can you imagine looking like someone like this, only to end up like that? Wow, handsome man.
The second is the son of Seti I, who was one of the great warrior pharaohs of Egyptian history. Now, Ramses comes to the throne at about age 22, 23, and sees himself in that long tradition of warrior pharaohs. Indeed, like the great warrior pharaohs who preceded him since the establishment of the Egyptian empire 200 years earlier, Ramses sees himself as actually the personification of the Egyptian military tradition to accomplish two things. One, to make sure that Egypt never again is threatened, that Egypt is safe. And secondly, to expand the borders of the empire against Egypt's enemies.
The bad blood.
Basically, he wants to make Egypt great again, in a nutshell.
Around 1300 BC, that Pharaoh Ramses II comes to power.
Amen.
Only in his mid-20s, Ramses is a warrior king with a reputation for being brash and cocky.
In his mid-20s, and he's a king of Egypt. What the hell am I doing with my life?
He understands that to protect Egypt, he must occupy the buffer zone to the north.
Ramses comes from a military tradition, and he sees himself not only as the pharaoh of the period of time in which he rules, but as a continuation of that tradition of great warrior pharaohs that has come into existence since the Egyptian empire was formed 200 years earlier. So when you look at trying to get inside of his head, what you're looking at as a person who sees himself not only as a great warrior, but a man whose primary function, primary purpose, primary reason for existence is to protect Egypt.
5 years into his reign as pharaoh, Ramses launches an attack against the Hittites. He
My boy ready.
leads 24,000 soldiers north up the coast road toward Gaza. His force is divided into 4 divisions, all named after Egyptian gods: the Amun, the Ra, the Ta, and the Seti. Each division is made up of 6,000 soldiers, 5,000 infantry, and 500 two-man chariot teams. The Hittites learn of the Egyptian movement and immediately counter with a force of about 17,000 who travel south from Hatti. Their general is the grandson of Shupililiuma, King Mawatali. Like Ramses, Mawatali is also a battle-hardened warrior.
We got 2 dudes with their game faces on, and both of them look ready. What's going to happen? Oof.
We don't know much about Mawatali, but the text suggests he was a good thinker. He fought with his head and had a good strategic mind. He went into these battles with a game plan, and he stuck to it. In many ways, he was a perfect foil to Ramses.
Both forces are heading toward the city of Kadesh. While controlling the city is not the end goal for either army, whoever controls Kadesh will have an easier time conquering the entire Amaru region. The Egyptian pharaoh Ramses II leads 24,000 soldiers to attack the Hittites. They are on their way to the Amaru, a strategic buffer zone between the two empires. Near the town of Byblos, Ramses divides his force. He personally leads 3 divisions, the Amun, the Ra, and the Ta, up the Litani River. These 18,000 soldiers will approach the strategic city of Kadesh from the south. He sends 6,000 of his troops, the Seti division, north along the coast. They'll cross the Lebanon mountains and approach Kadesh from the northwest.
What Ramses intends is essentially a pincer movement against the city. The larger force up the valley comes in this way, and what happens coming from the west is a smaller force at the city of Kadesh. So that's the strategic plan.
After a grueling 40-day march, Ramses and his 3 divisions make camp 10 miles south of the city of Kadesh.
These men, going on a march that long, you're losing some of your men. these men are getting sick. These men are basically, it was grueling. Not every man that he left with arrived at the same time. No, they went through certain things, especially a march at that time. It's not like today how we can just get on an airplane or train or, the advances that we have today. No, back then you had to do everything manually. And yes, you had chariots, but remember, not everybody had chariots. There was a whole caravan going on. So that march took a lot out of you, even just to get there.
Near the forest of Rabawi.
But to say that Ramesses' 3 divisions all camped together isn't quite accurate. Yes, they all stopped at the same time, but there are a lot of troops. So the guys at the back were 15 miles away from Ramesses in the front.
Ramesses is now pretty deep into the Amaru, and the Hittites could be anywhere. Whether he fails to send reconnaissance scouts up ahead or they don't discover anything, Ramesses has no information as to the Hittite whereabouts.
Near Ramses' camp, Egyptian patrols capture 2 local Bedouins, hoping to learn the location of the Hittite army.
We know from temple inscriptions that Ramesses had a pet lion that he took with him on campaigns. It's been suggested that the lion was used to, how should I put this, encourage cooperation.
According to
Nice
the
lion.
Bedouins, Muwatalli and the Hittites are still 100 miles away to the north of Kadesh at Aleppo.
Now he sees an opportunity. Kadesh is defenseless. I can grab it. I can use it as a logistics base, rebuild my army, get everybody rested, and then we're just a short step up the road to confront the Hittite army.
Ramesses is so excited that he jumps on his chariot with his bodyguard and starts for the city of Kadesh. But here's the problem. Ramesses, in his youthful enthusiasm, takes off, and his army is spread out over 15 miles behind him.
The Amun division quickly gathers its stuff. It's not in battle-ready conditions. It's slung over its shoulder at any time, and it starts boogieing up the road, trying to catch these guys.
My boy saw some gold. My boy saw his destination. He saw the finish line, and he said, you know what, let me just go. Even though half of my men are at least 15, 30 miles behind me, let me just go. Yeah.
Ramesses begins to make camp on the plain. The unprepared Amun division slowly catches up to him. The Ra is strung out a few miles behind, and the Ta is still near the forest of Rabawi. And the Seti division is somewhere on the coast of the Mediterranean.
Ramesses thinks it's a walk in the park. His bodyguard starts building the camp. Elements of the Amun division just begin to arrive in the camp. Everything's kind of disorganized. The Ray division is route stepping it across an open plain, and Muwatalli springs the trap.
From orchards south of the city emerged 2,000 Hittite chariots.
Yo, my boy Muwatalli caught my man's Ramesses slipping. He baited him, and he took the bait. Now my boy's got his army all spread out, and Muwatalli wants to pick them off one by one by one. My boy had that idea, and when they said he was a thinker, my boy had it.
They burst out of the orchards, take the Ray division right in the flank. Bang!
Just imagine turning to see thousands of Hittite chariots. Even for a trained army like the Egyptians, it would have been utterly terrifying. Ramses' Ra division is absolutely laid to waste by these chariots.
They're not battle ready. They're not formed for battle. They just get hit and they scatter.
Some historians believe that the Hittite king Muwatalli is already inside Kadesh and has orchestrated this surprise attack.
Caught him slipping.
The Bedouin story, a lie. Ramses' army blindsided. Muwatalli's plan, brilliant.
So who was the Chariot Master I said in the beginning of the video again? Was it Ram? I may have meant to say Muwatalli was the Chariot Master. I may have meant that.
Pharaoh, in his haste, took off practically by himself. He's only got maybe a couple of hundred soldiers with him.
Bedouin spies gave Ramesses false information that the Hittites were 100 miles to the north at Aleppo, when in reality, they were already in the city of Kadesh.
It never dawns on anybody that maybe somebody like the Hittite intelligence officers put the Sashu Bedouins up to the story, namely that this is a classic piece of intelligence deception to lure the Egyptian army into a trap.
As Ramesses sped off to claim the city, he left his force unprepared and strung out behind him for 15 miles. At the same time, 2,000 Hittite chariots stealthily made their way south along the east side of the Orontes River, hid in the orchards, then smashed into the Ra division.
One of the things that happens on a battlefield is as tactics and situation changes, what happens is, if you're not careful, you let operational success drive strategic goals. You start changing the goals. That's a basic mistake. And in this case, that's exactly what happened with Ramesses. Given the opportunity suddenly to grab Kadesh, he could hardly resist it. And he took it and fell right into the Hittite trap.
Ramesses is about 2 miles to the north of the ambush site. His only defense is the disorganized Amun division on the outskirts of his camp. About 15 miles to the south is the 3rd Egyptian division, the Ta.
And somewhere to the west is the Set division, who has come up the coast. So Ramesses is in real trouble because his army is so spread out.
Ramesses is getting pummeled. His forces are spread out. It's just chaos. I mean, if the Egyptians get to Ramesses, this could cripple the Egyptian empire.
And Ramesses is the Hittite chariot force's next target.
The Hittite chariots turn north and take dead aim on Ramesses' half-built, disorganized camp, where the Amun division is just stumbling into camp, trying to keep up. And bang! As they smash right into the camp, dismount from their chariots, and this terrible infantry battle erupts.
Many of his elite chariot teams desert the battlefield, abandoning their king in his most desperate hour.
Yeet!
But suddenly, the Hittite advance toward Ramesses' camp slows. Instead of continuing to charge toward the Egyptian pharaoh, many of the Hittites stop and begin looting the camp.
But that's not even the real problem. The real problem is the Hittite infantry is nowhere to be seen on the battlefield, and that will prove costly.
10,000 Hittite infantry and 1,000 reserve chariots wait on the east side of Kadesh.
To have 10,000 infantry doing nothing doesn't make much sense. Muwatalli has Ramesses against the ropes, and he should commit his infantry to knock him out.
But
In a nutshell, your infantry is like your main force. Your infantry is the spine, is the heart and soul of it. So if you're ever in a military battle, whether you're playing Call of Duty or whether you're playing war, you want to use your infantry at some point in time, because that is basically essentially your main force when it comes to the head-to-head battle, because they're the ones that are most likely going to be battle hardened and ready to fight, because that is their main job to do so. That's like, imagine imagine if you're a basketball player, you're playing 2K and you're not using LeBron James. Imagine if you're a football player and you're using the Chiefs and you put Patrick Mahomes on the bench. What sense does that make?
Muwatalli does not deploy his infantry. Despite the slowing of the Hittite attack, Ramesses' situation is still dire. He has no choice but to take matters into his own hands.
Now, Ramesses is no weekend warrior or a spoiled prince. He's led his army into this trap, and he's prepared to lead his remaining troops out. So he and some of the elite infantry guard, and pretty much all that's left from the Amun division, march into the fray.
People say he was a braggart or whatever, but he was one hell of a soldier. What he does is he rallies what chariots he has, rallies his army around them, and literally takes a section of the attack to the northeast, which probably was the weakest area, and attacks it.
Ramesses gathers momentum and begins to drive the Hittites back. But his forces are too scattered to make a significant impact. Muwatalli still has the advantage. He can end the battle by deploying his 10,000 reserve infantrymen.
Now is the time. You got him by the nose, kick him in the ass. Now's the time for Muwatalli to commit his infantry.
In a nutshell, what he's saying is Muwatalli has Ramesses' army by the neck, literally, because every army, it's like, imagine a human body, right? Ramesses is the head. He spread his body too far. Ramesses is cut from the rest of his men. In a nutshell, you don't have to destroy the whole army. Just destroy the head, which is Ramesses. You have him separated, isolated from all of his men. All you have to do now, commit your infantry and aim straight for the head. Thanos style. You should have gone for the head. That's all he had to do.
Muwatalli is about to make one of the most important decisions of his life. A decision that will determine the course of history. The fight between the Egyptians and Hittites has reached the most critical point of the battle. An initial chariot attack is turned into an infantry fight on the plains of Kadesh. This is good for the Egyptian pharaoh Ramesses, as he is able to stop the Hittite momentum gained with the shock of the attack. If the Hittite king Muwatalli, however, makes the right next tactical move and launches his infantry, he can easily surround Ramesses, kill him, and in one swift stroke, conquer the mighty Egyptians.
Now is the time. You got him by the nose, kick him in the ass. Now's the time for Muwatalli to commit his infantry. Commit it across the ford, northeast of the city, and it would have been all over. Chariots coming up from the south, infantry from the north. They got the commander. It's over. He doesn't do it.
Hey, yo. He doesn't do it? Halfway across this video, I'm trying to figure out who exactly is the Chariot Master here, because majority of this video, it's been all Muwatalli. So what's going on here? My boy had the match won. It was done. He had the pin 1, 2, 3. He had the game won. All he had to do was take a knee and run out the clock. Why? He doesn't do it?
He does nothing.
What?
And so the Hittite attack bogs down. It's essentially trapped in the camp fighting an infantry battle. It's given away. It's advantages in shock and mobility. It's stuck in an infantry battle. He has a hammer fist of infantry and he doesn't commit it.
Muwatalli's failure to deploy his infantry remains a colossal mystery to scholars.
Colossal mystery? My boy Muwatalli, you have any idea how much Moses couldn't stand you? You could have prevented the Exodus. You have any idea? Moses probably looking at you like, bruh, you don't do. Stop. What? Come on, man.
Ramesses, however, is still in trouble. Despite being stuck in an infantry battle, the Hittites fight furiously. Ramses' luck holds.
At precisely the right time, marching down through the pass, across the Lebanese mountains, onto the plain of Kadesh, comes the second Egyptian force, the Seth Division, at the precise time to Ramses' rescue.
My boy stalled, and now Ramses' body is catching up. His men are basically, his top guns are coming up, and they're catching up, and now he's got reinforcements. My boy missed the opportunity. And guys, let this be a lesson to everybody. No matter what it is that you're doing, do it now. Don't let the moment slip. There's never a right time to do. No, I take that back. The right time to do it is now. Sometimes don't limit yourself. Don't stall yourself, because when you miss that opportunity, you're not guaranteed another one. Let this be an example to everyone. If you have an opportunity, whatever it is you're going for, that job, that career, that girl, whatever it is that you're going for, do it now. Be motivated to do it now. Because if you're like Muatali, you miss your one opportunity and now things have changed. So take advantage of the opportunities that you have, because you might not get another one.
Ramses' Seth Division, which had been marching up the coast from Egypt, finally reaches Kadesh.
The Seth Division brings with it 5,000 infantry and 500 chariots. Ramses now has the force he needs to push the Hittites across the Orontes River.
A great chariot and infantry battle rages on the plains outside Kadesh. But because of the crowded battlefield, the more mobile Egyptian chariots are able to maneuver more easily and get the best of the Hittite chariots.
Yep, now you made it. You turn the tides to where speed is going to rule the day because of a crowded battlefield. The ones who can maneuver in a crowded battlefield, the ones who can maneuver more agile, the ones who are fast, the ones who are quicker, they're the ones who have the advantage in a crowded battlefield, because the ones who have more horsepower are kind of limited.
Ramses has successfully turned the tide.
Finally, Muatali launches reinforcements, but not infantry. He sends 1,000 chariots.
Muatali's chariot reinforcements move south from the city, across the Orontes River, then head north toward the battlefield. But suddenly, they are attacked from the rear. It's the final Egyptian division, the Ta, and they are ready to fight.
Oh yeah, we forgot about them. Oh, we forgot about them.
Muatali, he forgot about the Ta division. Now, I mean, it's got eyes. There's a hell of a battle raging over there. We better not cross the plain in route step. They're in battle formation. And they're marching up on the plain just as the Hittites cross the Orontes and turn their back to them. Bang! They hit them in the back and shatter the Hittite reserve force.
The Hittites are caught in a vice. Ramses, what's left of the Amun division, and the Seth division battle in front. The Ta division attacks from the rear.
Muatali committed a grave error, and that is never throw good forces after bad. If you're going to use forces, you do it to exploit a victory. You never do it to stave off a defeat. And he did it for the latter reason.
In a nutshell, when you have the advantage, there is a difference between going for the win and going not to lose. So again, let this be a lesson to everybody. When you're doing something, aim to win. Don't aim to not lose. If that is the case, you will more than likely lose.
The Hittite chariots cannot escape. They have Egyptian forces on both sides of them, and they can't maneuver because they're right in the middle of Ramses' half-built camp.
2,000 Hittite chariots are lost, and Muwatalli has squandered an overwhelming advantage. But despite Ramses' ability to turn the battle around, the Egyptians have also suffered badly.
Most of the Amun division is probably dead.
Okay,
A
bro,
good
I
part of the
see
Ray
you.
division is killed, certainly scattered. So he lost half his force. And a goodly number, at least two divisions of organic chariots, just 1,000 machines, maybe more. So it's been a bad day at Black Rock all around. The sun sets on the battlefield, dead and dying horses and individuals screaming.
The Hittites retreat toward the base behind Kadesh. The Egyptians don't try to chase them.
In the morning, Muwatalli sends a message to Ramses, like, this is gain no one anything. Let's just mutually disengage. We'll fight again another day. Ramses accepts. He has no choice. Has no hope of moving north of Kadesh.
But that doesn't stop Ramses from claiming himself the victor.
Hey, yo.
He engraves depictions of a great victory at the Battle of Kadesh on monuments throughout Egypt.
My boy
Ramses
claimed
records the
victory.
Battle of Kadesh as a great personal victory. And of course, we have multiple sources in the archaeological record, so we know that he exaggerates. But if you consider that he ultimately saved himself and his army from what could have been complete annihilation, his version of the truth makes some sense.
Before
My
Ramses heads
boy,
back to Egypt,
it was a
takes
tie,
care of
and he
one
said to
final
his
piece
people
of
that he
business.
won.
Ramses assembled the chariot commanders of the units that had broken ran under attack, forced them to kneel in the dust with their hands tied behind their back, and personally beheaded some of the sons of the most powerful nobility of Egypt.
It's a bloody finale to one of the bloodiest battles of ancient times. And Ramses makes sure that his army knows the price of failure.
Ramses learns his lesson from the mistakes
But it was
he made
his
at
fault.
Kadesh. But his flaws are all too common to history's great generals.
So you mean to tell me this man tied the battle? It was a draw. Nobody won. You mean to tell me this man claimed he was victorious when he really wasn't? But the gaslighting was on point. And remember the propaganda. Oh my gosh. This man, when you guys were watching the battles, you thought my boy was done. Dude was even lucky to be alive. And he gonna go to his people claiming victory. And that's exactly what history said. My boy built monuments. My boy built everything saying that he won. Because you know what? People ain't really there. Let me see what I can't tell my people that I'm weak. So I'm just going to say I won. And that's exactly what happened. The people believed him. I mean, who's going to deny it? I mean, come on, he's the king. He's the pharaoh. So this goes to show you, at some point in time, as much as I love history, one thing to remember about history is that it is his story. It's a story. It's a narrative. And not Ramses II proves that narratives can be controlled. Narratives don't always go with the reality. Like a reality like this, most people don't even know who Muwatalli is. I didn't. The only reason why we even know you, Ramses, is because you allegedly were the guy in the Exodus. So, my boy, you know what? No wonder Moses had to take you out, anyways. So, lo and behold, he went back home only to face this one guy named Moses, and then oddly enough, try to chase him too. So, yeah. So, what did we learn today? We learned that one, Ramesses II was a Chariot Master because of the narrative, because of the story that he told to his people, and because of what history, quote unquote, would remember about Ramesses II. Muwatalli he's a dummy. Dude is a representation of what we should not be. My boy had the race won. He saw the finish line and said, "Nah, I'm good." Take the opportunity, take the chance, take the hit, take your moment, everybody. If Muwatalli is giving you any advice, obviously, it will be take the opportunity. Take the opportunity, take everything that you have. And that is clear and evidence as far as what we should do moving forward. But anyways, everybody, that is the end of the video reaction that we have. Stay tuned for some more. If anybody has any recommendations for me, please do so in the comment section. And yes, this is my first video. Please like the channel. Like the channel. Yeah, first video. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for some more. Peace.